guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of an extra special vlog because today we're going book shopping. But that's right, today we're gonna go book shopping. I always love filming book shopping vlogs. I'll link my last one down below where I went to 5 of my favorite bookstores in New York City. But I will say one of my favorite things about being back in Texas is that I'm able to access one of my favorite used bookstores. I believe they're all over Texas and perhaps in other states at this point too, but it's called Half Price Books. And it's great because it's always in a strip mall and they're always huge. So the selection is just ginormous. So you're able to kind of peruse through all different types of stacks and also get some really good deals. I have some books in mind that I'm hoping to find, but given that it's a used bookstore, the stock is obviously going to be varied. So I truly have no idea what I'm going to stumble upon today. We're just going to hope for the best. So I'm going to take you along. We're going to head out now and I will be doing a book haul with hopefully lots of fantastic finds at the end of this vlog. But let's head out. All right, I've parked. I'm walking over at the record show. I'm doing this alone with a camera, which is like a really awesome vibe just to bring out in public, you know? That's all right. We're gonna get some good deals today. Let's go book shopping. Oh, she's so pretty. I hope they have a good fantasy selection today. Let's hope someone dropped off a lot of good books. Obvious first stop. So my goal is to find some second, third, fourth books of some series I've started. So we'll see if we have any luck. Maybe I can restart Harry Dresden after all. Or maybe not. Hi! So you might be asking yourself, but you're not in a bookstore, Reagan. That's true. Also, Clay is with me. So, funny story, got to the bookstore yesterday and honestly, I didn't love the selection. So I said, hey, let's turn this book shopping vlog into a dual locale. So we're heading tonight to a different Half Price book location. I'm also bringing Clay with me to help me film and feel less awkward in public. And this is a bigger location, so I'm hoping they have more fantasy books basically. I found like 2 books yesterday, but I just had a few series I'm on the hunt for, so I'm just hoping for better luck at this other Half Price Books location.
If you go to 2 Half Price Books, is it a full price book?
Anyway, I'll check in when we get there. And we've arrived. Round 2 bookstore shopping. Let's go. They have like 4 shelves here, so I think I'll be able to find more things. 6S, acquired a few more books to show off. Now we go home and then we haul. Hi everyone, I'm back, joined with Matilda for the time being. We'll see how long she stays here. But it is time for the book haul portion of this video. So I went to Half Price Books. Oh. And she's gone. So I went to Half Price Books obviously through the first part of this video. I went to 2 different locations and did a bit of shopping. I ended up picking up 5 titles, which honestly I'm very, very excited about. In general, I love shopping at used bookstores, not only because it's fun to try to kind of sift through everything, see what you can find, but you can also find incredible deals. And all of the books I picked up are in fantastic condition. I won't lie, one of my goals in going to these bookstores was hopefully to find some hardcover Wheel of Time copies, because I have found 4 already from these bookstores, but unfortunately I struck out today, but I still found some incredible titles, which I'm gonna show off now. Alrighty, starting off with the 2 paperback books I picked up. The first one is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I am so happy to add this to my collection, and I honestly do want to read it soon. I read A Man Called Ove earlier this year and fell in love with it. That was my first Frederick Bachman book, so now that I've had a taste, I for sure want to pick up more of his stories. Many have said Beartown is actually their favorite or one of their favorites, and this is also being adapted into a TV show, so all the more reason to pick it up and read it. And in this story, we follow a tiny community kind of set deep in the forest called Beartown. And Beartown hasn't really been notable or good at anything for a long time, but now they kind of have a chance of glory. Specifically, their junior hockey team is currently in the semifinals for the national competition, and they actually do have a good shot at winning. And now all of this small town's hopes are resting on the shoulders of a few teenage boys. Under that heavy burden, the semifinal match becomes a catalyst for an act of violence that will leave one girl traumatized and the town in turmoil. This is said to be a story about a small town in a game, but more than that, about loyalty and commitment and friendship. I've heard this book is incredibly emotional. I cried so much reading another Frederick Bachman books. I feel like he just writes really readable characters that you quickly just fall into their heads and into their lives. So I am looking forward to picking this book up, and I was happy to be able to find it for such a good deal and good price. So first book I picked up during my shopping trips. The next book I grabbed was Bring Up the Bodies by Hilary Mantel. I picked up Wolf Hall earlier this year, and this particular series, I think both books won the Man Booker Prize, and in general I'm very interested in reading them. They're both kind of works of historical fiction, but written with an intense amount of historical detail, and I just hear they're just fascinating and full of so many interesting truths or historical references, while still just like reading like true fiction that it is. I also believe this is a direct sequel to Wolf Hall, so I don't want to read the synopsis too much, but I do believe it follows Cromwell and kind of his rise to power. This is said to be a frightening episode of English history as no book has before. So sounds really interesting. I'm really curious to read books by Hilary Mantel, so I now have both books kind of attached to the Wolf Hall series by her. Looking forward to picking these up soon. And again, it's like new condition. This person took great care of this. The next book I grabbed is honestly stunning, was also a book I was hoping to find while shopping today, so I was thrilled to encounter it. And that is The Golem and the Genie by Helene Wecker. And the sequel to this just recently came out, so I wanted to pick up the first book to be able to read. And not only is the cover of this just one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen, but look at these sprayed edges. I mean, this is just a truly beautiful hardback, and I'm just happy to add it to my collection and add it to my shelf. And this is a story that, you guessed it, follows a golem and a genie, and they both basically find themselves accidentally in 1899 in New York City. Both of them brought there by chance and are also kind of drifting in a new world that they've never encountered before. First, we follow Chava, the golem, who was created by her master in Poland, but when he died in the sea crossing to New York, she arrives unmoored and kind of lost on what to do next, but also completely untethered. And we also follow Ahmad, who is a genie, a creature of fire, and he is released after many centuries of captivity in Lower Manhattan by a tin smith, and now these two supernatural creatures kind of come together and try to become a part of this neighborhood they find themselves in, while also disguising their supernatural identities. They also become unlikely friends. I'm just so intrigued by this, not only by the historical setting. I feel like this is going to be rich with New York City history, but I also love this sort of fantastical twist. I feel like this is going to be emotional, and I just have heard so many fantastic things about this. It's a very beloved series. A lot of people have read and enjoyed it, and again, the sequel just came out. Also, this combination of history and magic tends to be one of my favorite things to read, so I'm so happy I was able to locate this, especially one that is so stunning. Look at these pages. I mean, how could I say no to that? The next book I grabbed is a first book to a fantasy series I've been wanting to pick up, which for me, when it comes to used bookstore shopping, first books in fantasy series tend to be the hardest to find because obviously lots of people are looking to start new series, so I don't know, book one, always tricky, but I was able to find one, and that is The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu, which I'm so looking forward to picking up. I wasn't sure where I wanted to start with this author. He has not only so many works that he's written himself that have been lauded and praised and awarded all sorts of things, but he's also a translator and has translated so many different works within the fantasy sci-fi space as well, and I'm really interested in reading his translations. But this is a very popular series that seems to be very intense and full of epic war and conflict and all sorts of different things to encounter, so it intrigued me when I saw it in the bookstore. But it's basically set in an archipelago which was once divided into 7 distinct kingdoms with different cultures and language, but also shifting alliances and constant battles. But when a relentless king kind of unites the kingdom together, they think, or they thought, peace would finally come to the land, but instead stagnation, suffering, and turmoil has come instead. In this story, we follow 2 unlikely friends, characters that kind of meet in this story. One is a wily bandit that's not really interested in getting involved in larger politics. He really just wants to like hang out with his friends and survive day to day. But he kind of gets the mantle of heroism thrown onto him, and he decides to kind of take up a possible journey for himself. The other is Mata, who is the last scion of a very powerful family. He stands over 7 feet tall and kind of looks like the picture of what a hero would look like. These 2 characters begin waging war against different armies within this land, and I'm curious to see how their stories become more connected. But again, this is the first book to a high fantasy series. I know there are many books that come after this. This is obviously also very long, but I'm looking forward to adding this to my shelf. I hear it's dark and intense, so we shall see. And the last book I picked up, again, just has so many elements to its plot that I love, which is kind of a historical whodunit thriller story that also has a dash of weirdness to it, and that is The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. And this, I believe, is like a dual timeline story. The first timeline is set in the 1800s, and we follow a group of young artists that all travel to this manor, hoping to have a month of summer fun, inspiration, as well as all live and work together in this same space. But by the time their stay comes to an end, one woman has been shot dead, and the manor owner, Edward Radcliffe, has been ruined. Fast forward to the future, we also follow an archivist who comes across a leather satchel which has a sepia photograph of a young woman wearing Victorian clothing, as well as an artist's sketchbook of the manor itself. And I believe from there, we're gonna follow this archivist as she tries to unpack the mystery of what happened at this manor, and it overall just sounds really intriguing. I hope it plays with time. I also love this idea of these group of artists kind of going away and their stay ending in tragedy. I hope it kind of has a whodunit element to it. This in general just seems like the whodunit style murder mystery weird vibe that I personally love so much. I've also been wanting to read a book by Kate Morton. She's very popular and I haven't read any of her stories. So I saw this, I also really loved the cover, so I got it. Alrighty guys, those are the 5 books I picked up at the 2 used bookstores I shopped for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon with another one soon. Goodbye!